Yeah. And, the big lesson out of this is that, there has to be a flow. Like you can't just give and never receive, right? And you can't just receive and never give.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Okay, we're back. We're going to continue our conversation here. Jackie gets a little out of control in between episodes, just so you all know.
Yeah. They almost believe you. They almost believe you. Okay.
All this behind the scenes personality starts coming out.
Sure, babe.
All right, we were talking about 3 greatest people impact your life. You said 2. You said our pastors. And you said the Taylor family.
No, and I said our family.
Oh, that's right, me. I just want to hear it
See?
again. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anyways, all right, for me, I was going to say almost the same exact people. So, of course, our pastors, Colin and Melissa, the biggest impact that they've had, and there's been a lot of different ways because we're very close to them. And, Colin hasn't just been... He's new to being our pastors, but he's been a friend of mine for, a decade, our friend of ours for a decade. And, but watching him do what he's done in business and has worked really hard to become successful in order to position himself where now he has, literally become successful enough to free himself up to do just about anything. And what he chose to do was to really give his life, donate his life, really, him and his wife both, into trying to make an impact for the kingdom of God in every sphere of society. And he's an amazing leader, and he's been training people how to do it, and he's been raising people up. He's one of the greatest encouragers I've ever met. He knows how to pull the gold out of people. But he's putting all of his energy and effort into it, and it's just really cool. And so for us, it was one of the reasons they made such a big impact is because through that example, it's kind of, I don't know, it's given us permission to do the same thing, to get out there and really engage. And, because there's all kinds of uncertainty in the world today, and there's all kinds of weird stuff coming, and everybody's a little scared. And, it's one thing to just sit there and, be fearful and, or to engage. And so we're just deciding to engage because we have other great examples around our lives like that as well. And same thing, of course, honestly, the Taylor family doing the same thing, going for it in so many different areas of life. And, their friendship alone has been, I don't know, it's just, again, it's a level of family for us at this point, an extended family, and it's really, really special. And so that has also brought everything from opportunity to, just a desire to do better and be more and become more and learn new things. And they're doing all that, and it's really cool. And I would say probably the third one for me has been my friend Charlie, who used to be a coaching client for a season. And then after that kind of stopped, we decided that we didn't really want to not keep talking every week. And so we have been diligent about jumping on a Zoom 1 hour a week for I don't know how long now, years, right? A couple years now. And, the thing that makes the biggest impact is Charlie's been a very high achieving person in his life as well. But much like us, he's really, his mindset has shifted into doing things that create the greatest impact and the greatest positive influence. And so a guy with that kind of talent and skill set who's always working on himself so hard, especially spiritually, it just really stretches me. It's like kind of my spiritual accountability partner, if you will. Every week we're talking about how are we walking in faith stronger? How are we learning and applying it in a different way, et cetera. So, okay, what did you want to talk about?
I'm just joking. I think one of the coolest things that you just said about this is that you worked really hard this year to keep that relationship with him. That's the key. Like, how many relationships are available for all of us, but we don't try to keep them? I mean, just tell a little bit about how you've worked really hard to keep that relationship with him, even though you both are very, very busy.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of making time. It'd be really easy to sleep in a little bit on those days that we meet in the mornings, or to just, I don't know, start making it something that isn't as consistent. But there's value in it, and we both see it, which is great. We both see that we both bring value. We both kind of challenge each other, but it just takes, these kind of relationships I have discovered, they don't just show up, and you have to proactively try to have really high quality relationships. And I think we'll probably cover that one at some point about what we consider high quality relationships. Did you want to say something?
Well, but before we go down there, I think one of the things I'm just kind of saying too is that, as far as all these relationships, but specifically Charlie, because you don't see him really in person, maybe but once a year,
Yep.
that those times on the call are as important to you as, quality time with me or the kids,
Yep.
or a business endeavor or whatever it may be. You prioritize it at a high level, and that's why that relationship has been so impactful for you.
Yeah. I mean, we both have committed to it, and we've stuck to it. And so, yeah, it's been great. I'm excited about that relationship really continuing the rest of our life. Okay, next question. What was the biggest risk you took this past year?
I mean, besides coming here, that seems like the biggest risk. So
Sure.
I feel like we keep coming back to that. So, besides that, I would say it's really putting myself out there this year in a new environment where most people don't know me, and I don't know them, but I want to get to know people. And I think people want to get to know me. So putting it out there where you're going to be yourself, remembering that you need to be the best version of yourself, but not everybody's going to connect with you. And that's okay. But don't try to be somebody you're not, and don't try to convert into somebody else, and don't try to pretend like you're somebody else. Like, when you're out there meeting new people, have enough confidence in yourself that the best version of you is who you are today if you're working on yourself, and that you can go out there and you can meet great people, and you're going to connect with some. You're not going to connect with everybody, but the ones that you do connect with, enjoy, and don't put the pressure on it that on day one, it has to be so deep that, otherwise you're not connected. It takes time. And so I think that's some of what I've done this year, and whether that's going up and introducing myself and participating in things, or stretching myself to meet new people, or volunteer for things, whatever it may be, has been stretching because, again, previous to being here, we were kind of in our own bubble, kind of hit the highest point in some of the things that we were doing, some of the things that we were participating in, the community that we were part of, whatever the case may be. And to be starting brand new again it is very stretching. And some days you come home and you think to yourself, I hope I didn't say anything wrong, or I hope I didn't, say that too jokingly, or I hope they knew my heart, or, and then, it's just like our pastor was talking about last week. Sometimes you send a text and you're waiting for a response, and because they don't respond in 30 seconds or less, you're like, oh my gosh, did I say the wrong thing? And that goes into all of us, right? When you're starting new relationships.
Yeah.
So how about for you?
Yeah, a couple things. I think one is what you're saying. For me, it's choosing not to be so isolated. I can really tend to, keep my heart pretty locked away. Doesn't mean I won't have people skills. Doesn't mean I don't love on other people. Doesn't even mean I don't serve other people, because I enjoy that. But just opening up your heart enough where people get to know you fully, and actually being able to receive. That's been kind of a risk for me, I felt like, this year, because you can get down your path, at least I can get down my path so strongly of, all right, this is what my life is. I'm going to help everybody else. But whenever anybody tries to help me, then I just kind of resist it because I'm uncomfortable with it. And now here I am, like I've been willing this year because there's been a lot of people that have really showed up and been like, I want to help you. I mean, it's actually a little overwhelming this year how many people have done that for us this year, correct?
Like literally bring us to our knees. We're so, I mean, and it doesn't just happen once and we're like, oh yeah, no, it's been happening. Like it feels like almost every week that somebody is blessing us in a way that we didn't quote unquote deserve or earn or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you think you need to do to get a blessing.
Yeah.
And we feel like we've been a blessing to others for a very long time, and
Sure.
and we're called to, and we're cool with that. But when it starts coming back, I mean, it just happened again yesterday or the day before. We were on the ride home together, and I mean, somebody decided to bless us in a way that like we're not skilled in, and they are, and they asked for nothing in return from us, and we both had to just look at each other like, are they for real? Like, did they really offer to help us in this arena where we're not skilled in yet?
Yeah.
And we just kind of were like, thank you, God, as we kept driving in silence for a while, because it just seems to be happening. And I totally agree with you. Sometimes we just don't accept the blessings.
Yeah. And the big lesson out of this is that, there has to be a flow. Like you can't just give and never receive, right? And you can't just receive and never give. It's like, but we have, I think through trying to almost protect our hearts, we have just gotten in the give mode for a long time. And we've really resisted receiving. I think this year has really opened my eyes to how much we were resisting it for so long. And, but we made a decision, probably last year sometime or a year before, whatever, that like, you know what, we're going to start allowing this flow to happen better. And then of course, it's like every success book I read or podcast I listen to, it seems like everybody who's successful understands this concept, but me up until like 12 months ago, and it's so weird. And maybe it's always just been there and I was just so resistant to it that I didn't hear it. Right. But watching it open up now and flow, and we could do a whole episode just on stories from just this year of how many people have showed up in our life, and it's been pretty awesome, So, okay, I would say the other biggest risk this year is just choosing to start new endeavors, and in particular in spaces that we don't have any experience in, right? Because it takes, my brain can try to go down this path that I think are fairly common that can hold people back. You could think at some season that you can't do something because you're too young, because you're like 22 years old, and then you can think at some season that I can't do something because I'm too busy, because I'm having young kids. Or you can think at some season where it's like, well, maybe I'm getting too old to start something new right now, and that one tries to creep into my brain sometimes. But it's just like, I just been resisting that and fighting that and saying, no, let's just go for it. Like, what does God have for us? Like, just asking that question. We keep praying for this, to be able to be in alignment with the level of blessings that God wants to give us and get through us into others. And so if we're going to sit here and pray for it and say we're receiving it, then we have to. And I know this, I've learned from experience that usually when I'm praying for something, I have an idea in my mind of what it's going to look like when God gives me that, but it hardly ever is that way. It's usually some other form of opportunity that after you pursue that opportunity for a while, you realize later, oh, that's exactly what I needed, and God knew that and I didn't. You know what I mean? And so that's been another really big, I would say risk that we took this year, but it's been a good one. Okay, I got one for you. A pretty deep one. You ready to get vulnerable on the podcast here?
I feel like we are every week, but okay.
Yeah. What compliment would you have liked to have received this past year? I stumped her.
Yeah, totally. I'm like sitting here like, I don't know right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I know there is something like if I get really quiet on those quiet days that like, I'm sure, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm like literally, I don't know what to say right now. I think one of the blessings, and someday we'll get in this conversation, I actually have it written down as a topic, is one of the things we do at night as a family is we standing in a circle, and there's 8 of us. So every night somebody gets to say the prayer, and then all of the rest of us, with the 7 others, put our hands on whoever's praying. Like, let's just say it's you praying for the night, and we say something we love about you. Mm-hmm. And to hear it from all 7 people really fills so many needs and desires to be seen.
Sure.
And it's really neat when, like, you know, our little 5-year-old, she's going to be 5 on Friday.
Wow.
Says something like, I really love how mom always holds my hand when we cross the street, or I love how mom every morning says, I love you. Or like, hers are so simple and sweet and childlike, all the way up to, you know, big kids saying something that we specifically did for them, all the way to, you know, you complimenting me or vice versa. And so I think because we do that, I feel seen, you know, which I think that's what a compliment is, right? You want to be seen.
Yeah.
And so I can't think right now, although I want to come back to it because it's such a good thing. And we typically go through all these questions with our kids too. So, you know, you and I just don't go over ourselves. But it's really neat when even our kids will say something like, I wish I had heard blank this year, because it opens our eyes to how they want to be seen. So I don't know right now.
That's good.
How about you?
Great.
Is there a word that you can think of?
Well,
I mean,
we're out of time on this one. We'll start in the next one with this, okay? Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. And we have great news. You get more of us. You can expect new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. So be sure to consistently tune in with us and enjoy our show. See you next time.